Coming up on Network Africa, the Islamic State terror group claims its first suicide attack in Somalia. Tedros Adhanom from Ethiopia has been elected as the next Director General of the World Health Organization. And an Egyptian amputee sets a record by swimming across the Gulf of Aqaba from Egypt to Jordan. Welcome to the program. I'm Joke Rogers. We begin today in the Horn of Africa, where the Islamic State militant group has claimed its first suicide attack in Somalia. Police say 5 people were killed in Tuesday's attack on a checkpoint in the northeastern port city of Bosaso in the semi-autonomous region of Puntland. The militants' Amaq media news agency say an explosive vest had been used in the operation. A local police official, Mohammed Dahir Aden, says security forces stopped the suspect when he approached, but he detonated himself, leaving 5 people dead. One of the security officers and 4 civilians were killed in the blast. In 2015, Al-Shabaab, Al-Qaeda's affiliate in Somalia, split when Sheikh Abdulkadir Mumi, a prominent former spiritual leader and a recruiter for the group, declared allegiance to IS from his base in the remote Galgala Mountains in Puntland. He was placed on a U.S. terror list last August. Let's move on now. The Sudanese President Omar al-Bashir has accused Egypt of supporting rebels at war with Khartoum. This comes a week before Sudan's foreign minister is scheduled to visit Cairo. The visit is aimed at easing tension between the neighboring states. Egypt and Sudan have been at odds in recent months on a range of issues, from disputed land in southern Egypt to trade restrictions and burdensome visa requirements that have threatened bilateral commercial ties. Egypt's foreign ministry, however, denies supporting the rebels. Meanwhile, a UK-based campaign group, Conflict Armament Research, says that Sudan has been able to bypass international sanctions and arms embargoes to import weapons. It adds that it has evidence that Sudan has also distributed military material to armed groups in several other African countries. Sudan has denied similar accusations in the past. Let's get more on the story about the Islamic State and the suicide attack in Somalia. And joining us on Network Africa is a security expert, Emeka Nwanevu, who joins us live from Enugu. You're welcome to Network Africa.
Thank you, Rania.
The Islamic State has launched its first attack in Somalia, a country that's still battling to overcome Al-Shabaab insurgency. What effect is this likely to have on the country's anti-terror war?
Terrorist groups all over the world operate in very familiar characterization. And the Al-Shabaab is known to have held hostage the southern part of Somalia for a very long time. But I feel that the weakness of the Kenyan security forces has given credit to the apparent success of the Al-Shabaab so far. And I think that going forward, the African Union should collaborate with a lot of other countries within the African sub-region that have experience in international collaborations against Islamist fundamentalist groups. That is the only way to control the expansionist tendencies of the Al-Shabaab.
Do you think there's likely to be a merger between Al-Shabaab and the Islamic State in Somalia, or is there likely to be a supremacy battle between the two groups?
There's the tendency that a marriage can generate between those two terrorist groups because of the challenges they are facing within the respective jurisdictions that they originated from, especially the Islamic State. The Al-Shabaab is longer in terms of its origin and sustainability than the ISIS. But the operations of the ISIS is, in my own opinion, getting to a level where a marriage is more likely to guarantee them more success going forward.
Let's look at the U.S.-led war on fighting ISIS in Iraq, Syria, and Libya, of course. Would you say this campaign has yielded any results, or much of it?
Well, I feel with the new leadership in the United States of America and then its response to the challenges within the Iraqi and the Saudi Arabia axis, it may be much more challenging for Al-Shabaab to succeed without a marriage with ISIS. So I think their expansionist tendency may not be successful if this marriage does not take. I strongly feel so.
Well, there was a merger of some sort in Nigeria between Boko Haram and the Islamic State, with the group pledging allegiance to IS. What effect do you think that merger had? What effect did you think it has had on the Boko Haram's activities in northeast Nigeria?
It is very clear that there exists some relationship between some members of the Boko Haram sect and the ISIS. But the extent to which this relationship has been established is what I cannot say now. But I think that the Nigerian security forces should engage in very deep intelligence investigation to curtail this emerging relationship between the Boko Haram sect and the ISIS. And the only way to do that is to continue this incursion into the areas that the Boko Haram claims to still be existing within the northeast Nigeria. Intelligence has to be increased across all the security forces engaging in the war against the Boko Haram to curtail the relationship that could possibly increase between Boko Haram and ISIS. That must be done now.
I thank you, security expert Emeka Nwanivu. Thank you so much for joining us on Network Africa.